So Oz won, and everyone else lost. Hey Internet, I'm Chris, and this is a place on the internet where I talk about comics, movies, games, and things I'm generally passionate about. So the Penguin season finale is finally here, and it delivered on everything it set up. So before I get it too deep into everything, because I'm gonna get too excited and blurt out a bunch of things about that will spoil it, I just want to let you know I am going into full spoilers in this video. We're gonna talk about the finale, what it means for the Batman 2, what potential spin-offs have been set up, and also where Oz ends up. So again, Oz won. I think the show was set up as this thing that would be a bridge between the Batman and the Batman 2, highlighting how Oz Cobb would his rise to power in the Gotham underworld. And Colin Farrell is just amazing in this role. And I think what the show does a really good job of doing is that he's a villain. There are elements where you're kind of there's times where you're like, I like him because he's kind of funny. He is an underdog. But at almost every turn and every opportunity he has, he shows you just how much of a snake and how evil he is and how selfish he is. And Colin Farrell's portrayal of the character is just so good just because he's able to portray all those things, and there are moments where you kind of like him. But this episode, yeah, if you've seen this episode, and he wasn't wrong. In an interview he talked about how after this he wouldn't be surprised if there'd be not many people that liked him anymore.
By the end of the eighth, I'm not sure. I don't know. I have no idea, and the audience will find whatever they watch in whatever way they find it. But I would be surprised if anyone liked him by the end of eight.
And that is true because in this episode, at the end, he kills Vic. So the episode, it picks up from where the last episode left off, where Sophia blows up the Bliss lab. You have the Penguin being taken in by her. We find out that Oz's mom has known for this whole time that Oz killed his brothers. And he does not show any real remorse for that. And he still is lying in the face of his mom almost getting her finger cut off by Sophia. And it just highlights just how crazy and demented he was. And, even his mom says, "You're going to let him cut my finger off? What is wrong with you? I told you I know what happens." And it was just a great character moment for Sophia, for Oz and Oz's mom. And it just highlights just Sophia thinks she's playing this game, this war against Oz. And like in that moment, you can tell there's like a shift where like, wow, like I am really dealing with someone that is crazy beyond belief, crazier than anything she encountered in Arkham Asylum. And the gang war sort of bubbles up, but I think the episode, the core of it is that emotional thing of Oz doing everything for his mom, but it's in a lot of ways it's for himself. He wants his mom to be proud of him. He wants to give her the world, but in reality, he just wants her acceptance, even though she in a lot of ways, put up with a lot more than she had to, because for all these years she pretended that she did not know what he did, and she secretly hated him for it for all these years. Despite that, she still dealt with him. She almost had him killed by Rex, and she did not let it happen. So it's just interesting to see how that character works, and it really plays in towards the end. And in terms of how he's able to, weasel out of that, which Oz is really good at, and I think highlights just who he is, because I think he thinks he's smarter than he actually is when it's a lot of luck. And in this case, Vic helps him get out of the situation. And then also Vic brings in Link from the other gangs to help him defeat Sophia when he defeats Sophia, you're like, oh wow, like this is it. The underdogs are in. And Oz and Vic have this moment as they're looking off in the water after Oz's mom has a stroke. She's a vegetable at this point, and he's really sad because she can't verbalize that she's proud of him for taking over the city, even though that's not what she wanted. That's what he wanted. And Vic shares that, hey, like you're like family to me. And that, I honestly, when I watched that moment, and when he said that, I was like, Why'd you have to go and say that, Vic? This is a man who killed his two brothers just because they got a little bit more attention than he did. This is a man that is is convinced that his mom loves him, even though she has shown a clear disdain for him. And yeah, if he would kill his brothers, and when I saw that flashback episode, I'm like, yeah, the Vic is cooked, because if this man is willing to trap his brothers in a sewer so that they drown, there's nothing Vic can do. That's blood, and it's sad, but it's something that I think was important for setting up the Batman 2, because it highlights just, and I think this world of Gotham, the villains in it are true villains. They're all psychotic, they're all weird. And also, I think what's cool about this finale with the Penguin and Oz becoming the king of the Gotham underworld is that it highlights that there's a shift. Like, the old guard is gone, the Maronis and the Falcons are gone, and there's a new brand of criminal in Gotham, and it's going to take a hero like Batman to take this head on. And towards the end, we see Oz in a penthouse looking over the city as he has his mom in a hospital bed looking over, and you can see her sort of shedding a tear, and you could tell she's trapped. This is a fate worse than death. She would have preferred to have died of that stroke or died at the hands of Sophia, which also highlights what happens to Sophia. He does not kill Sophia. He sets her up so that she could take the blame for the Bliss Lab and all those things in the gang war. So she ends up back in Arkham Asylum, which is, again, to her a fate worse than this. I think she was kind of happy to let all this world behind her. And again, like, Oz is the only one that wins. He gets his penthouse, he gets what he wants, and then on top of that, he has Eve dress up as his mom to say that she's proud of him, and it's just weird. And you get like psycho vibes from it, and it just tells you just how demented and sick Oz is. And sort of back on the Sophia tip, like, something we've known is that obviously she's related to Catwoman. She's half sisters. While she's in Arkham Asylum, she gets a letter from Selena Kyle, Catwoman, and she smiles, and that kind of highlights sort of the setup for the Batman 2 and potentially more spin-offs. I think there is a potential for a Catwoman spin-off, and to see what her and Sophia, like, what Catwoman and Sophia can do. There's a lot of great solo Catwoman books, especially Darwin Cook and Ed Brubaker. So there's a lot of ways, and where Sophia was planning to go, I think that would be interesting to see her and Selena potentially going to other places outside of Gotham, maybe to wreak havoc in Italy, maybe there's more Falcons and stuff like that. So that would be a really cool thing. And then at the end, the very end, the last shot, you see the bat signal go up. Finally. Finally, there's a hint of Batman. They didn't say his name, but at least there's a bat signal. And I think everyone that watched this episode was super excited, because they're like, I can't wait for the Batman to open with Batman's foot on Oz's neck. Because if you killed Vic, I just want to say, I want Arkham Batman, just for like 5 minutes of the first 5 minutes of the Batman 2 needs to be the Batman literally beating Oz within an inch of his life. And we know, just based on interviews with Colin Farrell, that he signed up for the second one and then also the third one. So it is really interesting, the world that is set up. Although, like, what's great about this show is that even though it's connected to that, I think the way they're going to open the Batman 2, it'll allow, like, audience members that didn't see the Penguin to still get a lot of it, and you'll see where Oz is. And but I think this is required viewing if you love the world of the Batman and you're excited to see what's to come. And you're going to see, I think, a different Gotham, a different Batman. Maybe we'll see more of Bruce Wayne, and also Oz is going to be in more high places now that he's, at the top of the criminal underworld. And I just want to say, this was a fantastic series. It just highlights what Matt Reeves has created with this world. Colin Farrell was amazing. You had Kristen Milotti. I forget the actor's name that plays Vic. He was amazing. I think this is something that's going to put him on the map in a big way. So there's just a great cast, great performances, and then also some great twists and turns. The only feedback I think everyone had is like, hey, like, where was the Batman? Like, like Penguin is wreaking havoc, killing people, drug wars, all these different things, and there's just a signal in the night. Like, is he on vacation? Like, what's going on? So yeah, the show is sets up a lot, and then hopefully we don't know exactly who the villain is going to be, but I think there's a lot to this world of Gotham, and hopefully there's been teases of Hush and the Court of Owls, and we know that the Joker's around and the Riddler's still alive. So there's just a whole world, and again, this is called the Batman Epic Crime Saga, and it's set up that way. So yeah, let me know what you think of the finale. Did you love it, or do you hate Oz the same way I do? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.